Hi, my name is Shirley Dlude, and I am doing my speech and final paper on the benefits of rehabilitation programs in the prison system. When I initially started this project, I thought it would be interesting and maybe come with some ease because I myself had been a product of the prison system. At 17 years old, I started a 2 to 5 sentence in Goffstown, New Hampshire, the state prison there, and was afforded the right to do a program called the Summit House, which was a rehabilitation program. So going into this, I thought I would be hands down in support of the financial increase of offering these kind of programs to inmates. And even though I wavered back and forth in regards to the statistical success of these programs as I did my research, in the end, I still conclude that I think these are a benefit to provide to the inmates. And that's a little bit about what I want to talk about. So I did a program, again, the Summit House, and what that incorporated was 12-step programs, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, to help treat addiction, a lot of cognitive therapy to, help heal the emotional scars that led to the addictions, and then the deviant behavior that ended me up in the prison system. What I found is there are various different programs that they offer, some that we know about and some that we're not all familiar with. The prison system, first off, is classified anything over a year sentence. There's two different kind of systems. You can do county time, they put it, that's under a year, and obviously the resources that would be afforded to you are far less. If you are sentenced to anything over a year, you then go to a state prison. Now, these prison systems offer far more in terms of addiction help, parenting classes, education. They also offer placement once you have been paroled and are ready to re-enter society. That's the first thing I'd like to discuss, is the halfway houses. The program itself is designed to transition inmates back into society after a long period in the prison system. And what it does, it helps the inmates gain employment, save money, and be able to, create housing of their own instead of just placing them out on the streets. It also sets them up with aftercare plans for any addictions. And what I found was 80% of people that have been incarcerated are plagued with some sort of addiction, whether it's alcoholism, whether it's drugs, sex, gambling. There's so many various types of addictions. But 80% of the population is affected by addiction. And their addictions lead to the deviant behavior. So my stance on increasing the amount of money that we pay as taxpayers in order to help the inmates while they're incarcerated being beneficial is truly, addiction is just a symptom of a deep underlying problem. If we can focus on dealing with the emotional scars or the chemical imbalances that these people harbor many times, then I feel like the symptoms won't be the same. We won't be dealing with people that are drug addicted, that have to break the law in order to support their addictions. I feel like the addiction is a symptom, and if we deal with the core problem, then we will see far less and less inmates or criminals getting out and perpetrating the same crimes. Statistically, it shows, though, even though I'm in support of this, that 84% of convicts that are released from prison will reoffend within 5 years, and that is either with programs or without programs. So when you look at it from a number perspective, it does not seem to be of benefit. And it's very simple to just sum up that people will continue the same behavior that they always have. But how I'd like to address that is there are going to be that other amount that utilize it and change. And because I'm one of the people that were able to utilize the parenting classes and utilize the cognitive therapy and deal with a lot of my childhood scars, I was released from prison at 20 years old and have been paying into the tax system since, and consider myself quite successful both on a professional and personal level. So these halfway houses, to get back to it, is a way to transition slowly these people that have been incarcerated into society, because people that have been incarcerated do not come out without, shell shock of some sort. Being in the prison system, although it's a stressful environment, some would think, there are very few cares and worries. You're not worried about where you're going to eat because it's provided. You're not worried about making decisions, positive decisions on your own, because you have none to make. They're made for you. So what the halfway house does is it creates phases of, the program comes in phases where you enter and you don't have as much responsibility, but as you show that you're making good choices, you're able to then utilize different resources. You're able to go in public, you're able to get a job. You also, are tested for drugs, and it's a way of giving you a little so you can integrate healthy back in society. I think the halfway house program is an excellent resource for inmates, for I feel that they need that kind of guidance, support, and structure coming out of the controlled environment. Education is another resource that is afforded to people that are in the state prison. Why I think this is important is because many people that go in do not have the education behind them. They're able to get their GED there, take care of some things they should have in their youth that will help them become a productive member of society. And I think, honestly, that's what we all want. We want to reduce the crime rate. We want to rehabilitate people so that the cycle does not continue. And although, in many cases it does, like I said, there are the cases where it doesn't. And especially, mothers, and because I'm a woman and I'm a mother and I had that experience, I think it's very important. The experience for me changed the whole direction of my life. And my perception changed immensely in terms of valuing certain things. Education became very important to me. I was afforded a certificate program and have continued my education ever since. And here I am working towards a master's in psychology with the hope that I can be of help to girls, that are going through the same thing I did. Another program they offer, and it's quite controversial, is in certain states, women that go into the correction system pregnant, meeting strict guidelines, are able to then deliver the baby and have the baby for the first, up until preschool age. Now, on different spectrums, I don't think the prison environment is any place at all for children. Whether, you're the parent or not, I don't feel like that's an area to facilitate a bond necessarily. I think it would be far more detrimental. But what these programs do, they devise certain areas, which again takes finances. They create these environments outside of the prison setting, yet still on the actual prison land. It's a completely different component. And this component is kid-friendly, naturally. It is secure because these are inmates that we're talking about, but it's highly controlled, and it affords the mother the right to bond with that child, which anyone who has kids understands the importance of that initial bonding phase. So in terms of looking at it as being beneficial or detrimental, I think we need to look at it on a broader spectrum. So often we look at inmates and dehumanize their value because of their poor choices. And as taxpayers, and I know because I have fallen victim to this, also feel that in certain ways they're afforded a free ride based on their poor behavior. But I think all those kind of stigmas change when you're looking at a child involved and looking long term at that child, and with not being able to utilize these kind of programs where mothers can create these bonds. Looking at the child down the line with abandonment issues, I think, poses more of an issue and more of a threat than actually having the mother involved in the child's life. This also gives parents almost like a supervised visitation. Many of these young girls have no idea what they're doing. Many of them are addicted to drugs. It allows them the opportunity to come into parenthood in a controlled environment where they are being shown what to do, what not to do, how to feed, how to change the child's diaper. I think these are all very beneficial. So looking at the halfway house, I think that's an important component to the prison system. Looking at the mother and child programs that they offer, I think, is also very essential. Now, I think the reason this becomes so controversial is it's financial. To house an inmate, depending on the state, is between $30,000 and $40,000 a year. That's a lot of money. Incorporating these extra programs in order to break the cycle so that long term we won't be looking at that same kind of financial cost increases that 10 to 15,000 a year. So that's where the controversy lies. The controversy lies in, should we be affording this kind of financial tax money to rehabilitate? And I think the reason too, I think most Americans would want this. I think that we fall prey to the statistical reality that even afforded these kind of programs, most inmates do not recover. They reoffend. Looking at those numbers, they're astronomical. I think that's where the controversy lies. People don't want to invest in something that they already believe is not going to change. So this is why I decided to do my paper. And I thought it would be an interesting topic, one that touched me personally, and one that, although it was not I would recommend that kind of experience to anyone. Like I had said earlier, it truly shifted the whole direction of my life. And I believe that I would not be the person I am on a emotional, intellectual, or physical person that I am now if it was not for that experience. It really was a intervention into a life that was not a good direction. So I am in support, and I think that we should offer these kind of services to inmates. I think that they should be done on strict guidelines and based on good behavior. And I think it should be something that is not just given, flat across. It should be something you have to work for. But I know it changed my life, and I believe that these kind of programs can change many people's lives if afforded to them. So that was my speech, and I hope you enjoyed it. And that's it. Thank you.